Hi, everyone. Welcome to All Access. I'm Linsey Davis. He's the everyman turned action hero. Jeremy Renner, the two-time Academy Award nominee, gained early acclaim for his role as Jeffrey Dahmer in the 2002 hit Dahmer. But it wasn't until his 2009 breakout role in The Hurt Locker when he would start taking Hollywood by storm. We sat down with Jeremy Renner in late October to discuss his love for music, his early days in Hollywood, and his near-death experience in 2023.
Jeremy, thank you so much for making the time to have the conversation. Of course, you wear a lot of hats: father, philanthropist, actor, and musician.
Sure.
In 2023, when you had that near-death experience, you wrote a really emotional song dedicated to your daughter, Ava.
Yeah. It was inspired by the first words I said to my daughter when I saw her after the incident. When I got home from the ICU, they had to hide all the information that was happening to me in the beginning, if I was going to come out of the coma or not, and all these kind of things, you know, pretty harrowing for my family to kind of juggle that. So when I got home, and I got home pretty quickly, and after like 12, 13 days, made it to back home, and I saw my daughter. I want to say I've forgotten that I was a dad, but there was so many other things going on, high as a kite, on all these painkillers, all these things. And I remember getting home, my daughter's my number one, and wanting to see her. And the door opened, and I remember my sister, Kim, was like, you know, guess who's here? I got a surprise for you. I'm like, what's that? This is my daughter. She came in, and then I really, the whole world came kind of crumbling down. It kind of, you know, I think I had to remember the seriousness of what I was going through at the time. I just asked her to wait for me. I would think were the first words to kind of just be patient, essentially, is what I was saying. Is if I'll be the dad that you knew if you just wait. You know, I'll be able to hold you and all these things. I couldn't. I was completely, you know, kind of useless at the point. What I did do is try to encourage her, like, what you can do is I need you to sort of help me. And you have to kind of be the parent. You have to be my arms, my legs, and maybe you can go get me some water or some things, you know? And so to kind of give her direction to kind of deal with the emotions of seeing her dad pretty busted up. So in writing the song, it was really cathartic for me to go through and I wrote it with some friends of mine too, so it was a pretty special thing for me to do with my friends and and it's nice to kind of write things for my daughter. It's like the third or fourth song I've written for her. Anything to get your mind off your body and your health, and right, I was always looking for a distraction or a focus, more importantly than a distraction, like to focus on something else that was hopeful.
So Ava, now 12 years old, you've said that that's the most important role of your life, being a father. Yeah, for sure. How has that changed your priorities?
When Ava came, everything changed, and it seemed like probably just a second of time, but time stopped when a child comes out and they grab your finger, like a Palmer's reflex is what it's called, and it's like they grab it like as strong as an adult, right? The thought came to me, it's like, oh, as she's taking her first breath, grabbing my finger. Like, if I do right by her, we'll be in the same position when I take my last breath. So then it was sort of like, you know, I don't know if I believed in God all of a sudden in that moment, or if I believed in a perspective that was just poured into me, because I certainly didn't ever expect that perspective. But it's like, I get it now. And I just sort of kind of was looking up, I get it. I can get out of my way now. And just go, this is my number one priority.
What does she think about you as an actor? I mean, is Dad cool? I know.
No, I don't think so. She's always been too young, and I don't think anything I did was pretty age appropriate for her, you know, at the time. I think she thinks I'm cool because the work I do with foster kids, because she worked with me side by side with them a lot. She's really wonderful with the kids. I think maybe that, or maybe music. Music is much more something she thinks cool, because I've written a bunch of songs about her. The studio's in the house, so I get her playing a bunch of different instruments since she was a little kid. Maybe that, I think, is probably it's something that connects us, unites us together, that a young girl and an old man can sort of come together on and both enjoy, and music is a big thing in that, I think.
And you had been studying computer science in college, happened to take an acting elective.
Yeah.
Prior to that,
Yeah.
Did you ever, as a child, during your upbringing at all, ever think, maybe I'd like to try my hand at acting?
No. There wasn't even, didn't even know what it was, really, to be honest with you. I watched TV, but, had no idea what acting ultimately really was until I went to college. I knew like 3 computer languages at that time, and that was an important thing in 1989. Thought, there's at least probably a good job in there somewhere, but I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I wanted. But, does any of us, especially when we're 17, 18. It was something at least to choose to start with, and let it be wrong, let it be right. It doesn't matter. Got to start somewhere.
So you were at Modesto. You ended up playing the Scarecrow in The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
With the thoughts I be thinking I could be another Lincoln if I only had a brain.
Yeah.
At that point, you've said that really engaging with children was a motivator.
Oh, yeah.
Was it at that moment that you thought, maybe I could really do this?
Yeah, I knew I really enjoyed it at that time. Wizard of Oz is a great, fantasy, and to play, one of the characters in that is like the Scarecrow. It was really great, man. You're singing and dancing, and then I got to learn a lot about myself and engage with all these kids, and it was so fun.
You've described getting the first gig in National Lampoon's as like winning the lottery.
Oh, well, it kind of is.
I hate when I get blamed for something before I do anything wrong.
Your first job to be the lead in a National Lampoon. Here's what I was asking for in my own mind when I moved to LA, and I gave myself 11 years to get these 3 goals checked. Right? Is to be in a movie, not in a commercial, not in a TV show, whatever. I'd be in a movie, to be in a movie that was big enough that it would play my small town of Modesto in a theater, and then be in a part where I wouldn't have to tell my mom and dad which part I was. I'm the guy in the red shirt with the cap on, So I got all those in the first job I got. And so it was like winning the lottery.
A lot of people, we just see all the hits, right? The Oscar nominations,
Right.
the big box office debuts.
Yeah.
What sustained you in between and before you got to all of that? Because it seems like it can be pretty rough for many up-and-coming actors.
Yeah. Look, I think what sustains me is I believed in what I was doing. I can't say I was always happy because there was many years where I didn't have no electricity. I had 1 donut hole a day. You got 99 cents for 13 donut holes, and so that's 1 a day. So you kind of space it out. It was brutal. But you're young. You're kind of nimble. Your body doesn't show the signs of all those toxic things you're putting in your body. I tell my mom, I remember being on a phone call back when the phone calls were expensive, calling long distance on a landline. And it's just counting each minute, right? And I'm like, I can't afford this phone call. I'm like, why are you? So I'm like, Mom, why are you calling me? I'm like, hurry up, get to the point, hit the high notes on this conversation.
Write
This
a
is costing me
letter.
a fortune. I remember telling her that, and then she paused, and I felt like such a jerk. Because she said, I just want to tell you that I love you. And I started crying. I'm like, oh my God, I feel like such a jerk. I'm like, Mom, I just can't afford this phone call. And I felt bad. I don't know if she knew how much I was struggling financially, being on my own. I was also the oldest of 7 kids, so I'm the first one to kind of go out the fence here. I said, yeah, it doesn't feel good. Yeah, it's terrible that I've done all these things and I have no electricity. It doesn't feel great, but at least I'm playing the sport I want to be playing. I'm in the game that I want to be playing. Most people are not. Most people are doing a job they don't want to do, so they can go pay for their car payment or their house, or you know what I mean? They're doing things they don't want to be doing in their life.
Unfulfilling.
I'm doing exactly what I want to be doing and the things that I know what I want to do for the rest of my life. Will I? I don't know. There's uncertainty to that, but I'm certainly going to try. But knowing what makes you happy, that is the greatest gift I ever got when I was 18. And I fully put the pedal to the metal on that and went for it and go for it. And even when it comes to all those struggles, those are the things that build more fortitude and strength and a foundation of being able to get through anything. It taught me how to get good at overcoming obstacles. Taught me how to hold my head up high. Knowing that, let's not forget that perspective of you're doing what you want to be doing. Yeah, no one wants to be in my position right now. It really sucks.
You're a wild man, you know that?
This box is full of stuff.
That almost killed me.
What about this one? Where's this one from, Will?
It's my wedding ring.
Like I said, stuff that almost killed me.
You've said before of acting that you really like to play these complicated, multi-dimensional characters who really have certain stuff to work out.
Yeah.
And in the process that you can kind of work out certain things of your own.
Yeah, there's characters that I'm close to, and then there's some that I'm far from. But I like the complicated characters part of it because of, there's intelligence behind those things, and it makes the experience of going through someone else's perspective or their journey more interesting. Otherwise, if I'm just walking a straight line, then you kind of know what your next step's going to be. But when you're not, when it's a little bit more complicated, a little bit more rich, a little bit more human, we all can operate in areas, in the gray areas of some point. We can be great people, but maybe we don't always make the greatest decisions, or maybe vice versa. But I just find that when anything's complicated, it keeps me more interested anyway. So I like more realistic, honest, complicated characters.
You've played good guys,
Interesting.
bad guys,
You never ask me about it later, and we're gonna hurt some people.
Whose car are we gonna take?
drama,
Are you dreaming in their language?
action.
You're a Hawkeye.
Who the hell are you?
Do you have a favorite role?
I mean, if there's any one job, it's the movie Wind River.
Sheriff's office.
I need emergency assistance.
What's your location?
It's the one I did with Taylor Sheridan, and then we ended up doing Mayor of Kingstown together. But I think the themes in that movie, the style of that movie, it only took 8 weeks to shoot. I got to work with Elizabeth. There's a lot of different factors, and it was close to my home. The character's very close to who I am. And so it has that sort of thriller, sort of drama. And I like you talk about complicated characters and rich relationships, and it's still a story that people want to watch, I mean, if it's one, I think it's probably that one.
Is there something that draws you to a particular character that you say, I want to be part of that?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it depends on certain times in my life. Obviously I've been playing the Mayor of Kingstown for, this is like 4 years now. I'm probably going into the 5th now soon. I mean, if I was going to do something else, I would probably do something farther away from that. Maybe I want to do something a little lighter. Maybe I'd do a comedy. Maybe I'd do, just because I have a lot of that in my life, I'm getting those creative boxes checked a lot. So, I mean, and also I don't really kind of look for anything creatively right now. I got to spend time with my health. I got to live in reality. I can't live in the fiction world so much. I got to spend time on my body, my mental health, my emotional health, time with my family, my daughter. There's a lot of things that interest me creatively, but it's just kind of lower on the totem pole of importance for me right now.
Of course.
Coming up, Renner gets personal about the accident that almost cost him his life.
38 broken bones, head trauma, chest trauma, collapsed lung. Doctors tell you you likely will never walk again. What do you credit to actually surpass those expectations?
I mean, here's a short answer. It's one word: love.
Let's go back to that snowplow accident that you had.
Someone's been run over by a snowcat. Hurry.
Okay, tell me
What?
exactly what happened.
I don't know. Someone's in front of my house on the ground. They got run over by a snowcat. He's been crushed.
Okay, we
Send
have
paramedics, ambulance.
everyone's on the way right now, okay?
2023, you're at your home, 38 broken bones, head trauma, chest trauma, collapsed lung. Doctors tell you you likely will never walk again. If you do, it won't be the same.
Correct, yeah.
What do you credit with your ability to actually surpass those expectations?
Well, there's no short answer to that. I mean, here's a short answer. It's one word: love. It is a fuel that kept me alive. To get better, to recover faster, to be better. It was always the fuel and the end goal. To live, to be. I mean, that's all we need anyway. But there's so many people involved in the process of staying alive. I was thinking more about finding my next breath on the ice. After the 45 minutes on the ice and got to the hospital, I was in a coma. So then the recovery part, where I was much more conscious and, a player in the game of this recovery was the love, was always love. I have to get better because the people around me I love, I really messed up. The ripple effect of what had transpired is, I wouldn't want to be any of them either. That would be a really bad position to have to look at this busted face, my eye duct taped to the side of my head and all these things. Yeah, you don't want to see someone you love in that position. How do I relieve them? And this look on their face is to get better. So if I get better for them, not for me, I wasn't ever trying to get better so like I can move, I had to get better for them emotionally, heal them. In terms of doing so, then I could do it myself. It's kind of like, the same thing in our brain where we kind of, even if you know what you got to do in the gym, it's easier when you have a trainer, right?
Yes.
We know we can do it, and we know we've done it enough. We can do it, but but you don't. You won't go by yourself. It's that kind of idea. So relieve me of getting out of my own way. Let me go do it for them and get better for them. So I got better faster because I love them so deeply as they do me.
Among those family members, Kim, your sister.
Oh, my poor sister. Yeah. I'm very proud of her for not, because she's a very emotional creature. And she just made that decision to like go into headstrong mode and not think about breaking down and falling apart emotionally. She chose to I got to save my brother and I got to do all the right decision-making things. And she's a beast that way, right? She has like 10,000 employees and works for DCFS, Child Protective Services, right? She's a monster in the sense of she can make decisions and do a lot of things. So thank God she went into that kind of superhero mode and kind of had to make a lot of decisions for me in the early moments of the incident.
What made you create the foundation with her renovation?
Well, that was kind of, part of it. She's a huge part of it. Her working for, Child Protective Services for so many years and her husband too. Time spent with foster kids was much more, because I was Hawkeye and they, maybe it would just, make their day a little brighter or something, showing up for little Christmas events and things like that. But then COVID hit, and then my sister, Kim, and Frank were staying at my house doing, working from home, or my home anyway, in the mountains. And I would listen to them and their job and get behind the scenes information about what Child Protective Services really deals with these kids, because they come in at the 25th hour, a little late to the game, and have to now the state has to take these kids. And I hear about all the harrowing stories, and I get very upset. I'm very empathetic, so I get very reactive, and I got angry. I was crying, all these things. I'm like, okay, look. So starting the foundation was an easy thing to do, but it requires a lot of effort to start a nonprofit. We had avenues to and access to so much information of where the state fails these kids, then the state shouldn't be raising these kids in the first place. So now I know I can plug in all the holes for these kids and their needs and what they're not getting from different foster family to foster family to foster family. I can almost play the part of a foster kid. I understand all the data that these kids are going through. Now, let's provide it for these kids. Let's provide them with community. Let's reunite them with their siblings. Let's give them opportunities they deserve. Let's give them the all. It's like it's a list. So then it became very easy. There's a pathway for me to start this thing. And I have a loud voice, and I'll use my loud voice for these voiceless kids.
Tell us about Move-In Day in Reno recently.
Yeah, well, that was awesome because it's a new program that we started for kids aging out of foster care. It's called Pave Your Way. And like many of our programs that we have, it does require a village, right, community to really move the needle for these kids. And so we teamed up with A Sense of Home, which is another nonprofit. And what they do is they'll take the apartments that we get and they can furnish them fully and outfit these kids with from a house to a home. Really fill it with all the love and necessities that they're gonna need. We give these kids a safe landing spot as they're dumped out into the real world from the state level. And then we give them all wraparound services for as long as we can, from mental health to financial literacy. They get a vehicle. They get, some can get into free ride at the local university, to tech schools, job placements, all this sort of stuff to get them, build community for these kids, and then help them, they can start paving their own way in the world, which they've never been given the opportunity to do so.
You've taken a lot of roads. What would you say is a road not taken for Jeremy Renner?
A road not taken. Well, there's a lot of bad roads not to take. I'm happy not to take those. And I learned from people before me and things that I'd want to take, I'm assuming you're meaning. Well, the foundation is a new road, it's a new path, and it's opening more pathways. It is a real purposeful, intended life is what I care about. And that is a great example of an intended, purposeful life. It unites my family together to do something really amazing, and it's like breathing, it's not even work. Exploring that is going to be in perpetuity. Where that leads, I think there's going to be pathways that it leads off of that I'm excited to do, but I don't really look too far ahead in life because of just of life in general, and specifically because of the incident. I stay very focused on now. I plan for the future, or I consider the future. I do not plan for the future. I consider it. The past, I let it go. That's yesterday. Learn from it, move on. And I stay, my next step is the next step. And I focus on, I'm here with you, and that is all I am right now, is here with you. I'm not worried about dinner later. Do I get sushi? Do I get Italian? I'm here with you. Yeah. Now, I consider my daughter, I consider all the things I love and know, right? But I live a very clear, beautiful, connected life because of that perspective. And so future pathways, I guess I'd have to consider. If it's not with someone I care about, it's not going to happen. Not going to do it alone. I will do no pathway ever again alone.
You referred to the incident. Has it been life-changing? Has it changed your perspective? And really kind of a two-parter, because how are you? Because looking at you from the outside, you look like you're 100%.
Yeah.
Do you feel that way?
Yeah. Well, I'm just an avatar, I think. Jeremy's back home in bed. There's a lot. There's nothing that really changed except everything, because the perspective is everything. The only thing we have control of, any of us, is our perspective on something. We can see it in a positive way, negative way, whatever, right? So my priorities of my family, my daughter, the foundation, the things that are purposeful to me are much higher up, like my health. Before the incident, my health was, 10th of important things in my life, it was pretty low. Now it's like number one. I got to get better and be better, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, all those things first, before I can be a dad. I'll be a better dad to take care of everybody else if I take care of myself first. Hard lesson to keep relearning every day. Like Groundhog's Day, I have to relearn that every day. Programmed in my brain was like, to take care of my daughter first. Can't do that. So, and then it's all these other things. So the beautiful perspective of my priorities just being shifted, the things that need to float to the top are there, and it leads for a very clear, simple life. Even though I have a complicated life, but my living in that life is very, very simple, right? I might have had 1,000 interviews before you. I'm here with you, and that is it. You know what I mean? It leads me to have real connective tissue with people, to have real moments with people, with myself. First and foremost, to be vulnerable, to be honest, to be giving, and it's just full of joy and bliss, man. It doesn't get any better than it is right now.
We feel that. Thank you so much for the conversation. Really appreciate it.
Yeah,
really a pleasure. Thank you.
This is All Access. I'm Linsey Davis. Thanks so much for streaming with us.